Hi, Easy Peasy kids. Here's one of my very favorite books ever. It's called Purple, Green, and Yellow. It's by Robert Munsch, who writes crazy stories. You won't believe what happens in this book. And yes, it's a problem book. Bridget went to her mother and said, I need some coloring markers. All my friends have coloring markers. They draw wonderful pictures. Mommy, I need some coloring markers. Oh no, said her mother. I've heard about those coloring markers. Kids draw on the wall, they draw on the floor, they draw on themselves. You can't have any coloring markers. Do you guys draw on yourselves with coloring markers? Sometimes. I've seen it. Well, said Bridget, there are these new coloring markers. They wash off with just water. I can't get into any trouble with coloring markers that wash off. Get me some of those. Well, said her mother, all right. So her mother went out and got Bridget 500 washable coloring markers. Bridget went up to her room and drew wonderful pictures. She drew lemons that were yellower than lemons, and roses that were redder than roses, and oranges that were oranger than oranges. Wow, she's busy. Are some of you drawing pictures at home right now? I bet you are. Her mother was amazed. She said, wow, my kid is an artist. But after a week, Bridget got bored. She went to her mother and said, Mom, did I draw on the wall? No, said her mother. Did I draw on the floor? No, said her mother. Did I draw on myself? No, said her mother. Well, said Bridget, I didn't get into any trouble and I need some new coloring markers. All my friends have them. Mommy, there are coloring markers that smell. They have ones that smell like roses and lemons and oranges and even ones that smell like cow plops. Mom, they have coloring markers that smell like anything you want. Mom, I need those coloring markers. Can you imagine if it smelled like cow plops? Cow plops is cow poop. Ew. Her mother went out and got 500 coloring markers that smelled. Then Bridget went upstairs and she drew pictures. She drew lemons that smelled like lemons, and roses that smelled like roses, and oranges that smelled like oranges, and cow plops that smelled like cow plops. Ew. Her mother said, wow, my kid is an artist. But after a week, Bridget got bored. She said, Mom, did I draw on the floor? No, said her mother. Did I draw on the walls? No, said her mother. Did I draw on myself? No, said her mother. This is my dog, Henry. He would like me to pet him while I'm reading. Well, said Bridget, I need some new coloring markers. These are the best kind. All my friends have them. They are super indelible, never come off till you're dead, or maybe even later coloring markers. Mom, I need them. So her mother went out and got 500 super indelible, never come off till you're dead, or maybe even later coloring markers. Bridget took them and drew pictures for 3 weeks. She drew lemons that looked better than lemons, and roses that looked better than roses, and oranges that looked better than oranges, and sunsets that looked better than sunsets. Wow, she's busy. Look at all that. Then she got bored. She said, I'm tired of drawing on paper, but I'm not going to draw on the walls, and I'm not going to draw on the floor, and I'm not going to draw on myself. But everybody knows it's okay to color your fingernails. Do you color your fingernails sometimes? Even my mother colors her fingernails. So Bridget took a purple, super indelible, never come off till you're dead, and maybe even later coloring marker. She colored her thumbnail bright purple. And that was so pretty. She colored all her fingernails purple, black, and yellow. And that was so pretty. She colored her hands yellow, green, and red. And that was so pretty. She colored her face purple, green, yellow, and blue. And that was so pretty. She colored her belly button blue. And that was so pretty. She colored herself all sorts of colors, almost entirely all over. Then Bridget looked in the mirror and said, "What have I done? My mother is going to be so angry." So she ran into the bathroom and washed her hands for half an hour. Nothing came off. Her hands still looked like mixed up rainbows. Can you believe it? My goodness. Then she had a wonderful idea.
What?
She reached down into the bottom of the coloring markers and got a special colored marker. It was the same color that she was. She took that marker and colored herself all over until she was her regular color again. In fact, she looked even better than before, almost too good to be true. She went downstairs and her mother said, "Why, Bridget, you're looking really good today." "Right," said Bridget. Then her mother said, "It's time to wash your hands for dinner." But Bridget was afraid that the special color would not stick to the colors underneath, so she said, I already washed my hands." Now, does that ever work when you say that to your grown-ups? But her mother smelled her hands and said, no soap. So she took Bridget into the bathroom and washed her hands and face. All the special color came off and Bridget looked like mixed up rainbows. "Oh no," said her mother. "Bridget, did you color your hands with the coloring markers that wash off?" "No," said Bridget. "Bridget, did you color your hands with the coloring markers that smell?" "No," said Bridget. "Did you use the super indelible never come off till you're dead and maybe even later coloring markers?" "Yes." "Yikes," yelled her mother. Can you see? She's completely colored. Oh my gosh. She called the doctor and said, "Help, help, help. My daughter has colored herself with super indelible never come off till you're dead or maybe even later coloring markers." "Oh dear," said the doctor. "Sometimes they never come off." The doctor came over and gave Bridget a large orange pill. She said, "Take this pill, wait 5 minutes, and then take a bath." So Bridget took the pill, waited 5 minutes, and jumped in the bathtub. Her mother stood outside the door and yelled, "Is it working? Is it working?" "Yes," said Bridget. "Everything is coming off." And Bridget was right. Everything had come off. When Bridget walked out of the bathroom, she was invisible. "Oh, no," yelled her mother. "You can't go to school if you're invisible. You can't go to university if you're invisible. You'll never get a job if you're invisible. Bridget, you've wrecked your life." "Don't worry," said Bridget. She ran into her room, got the special colored marker, and colored herself entirely all over until you couldn't tell the difference. In fact, she looked even better than before, almost too good to be true. Look at her coloring herself in. This book is crazy. But her mother said, "Bridget, you can't go through life like that. You're just a picture. Everyone will know there's something wrong." "No, they won't," said Bridget. "Yes, they will," said her mother. "No, they won't," said Bridget. "I colored Daddy while he was taking a nap, and you haven't noticed anything yet." "Good heavens," yelled her mother, and she ran into the living room and looked at Daddy. He looked even better than before, almost too good to be true. "Doesn't he look great?" asked Bridget. "I couldn't even tell the difference," said her mother. "Right," said Bridget, "and neither will he." As long as he doesn't get wet. Look at that. What happened when he got wet? Look at his face. My goodness. She colored him, didn't she? All right, easy peasy kids. Have fun out there. See you soon.